What up, everybody, and welcome back to the Dirty Lounge. As always, I am your host, the Dirty Saiyan. If you haven't already, please take this moment to smash that like button, post in the comment section below, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to hit that notification bell and choose all to be alerted to future content on the channel. Every one of these interactions helps boost my videos on the YouTube algorithm, and it is very much appreciated, guys. But today we have a very special Q&A video where I answer your questions from Twitter, where I did ask you guys to ask me whatever you wanted to for my 150 subscriber celebration. And I did want to thank each and every one of the people that have subscribed to my channel. It does mean a lot to me. I never expected to get to 100 subscribers, let alone 150. And we just keep growing from here, hopefully. So enough of all that, guys. Let's roll that intro, get into some questions, and let's go. All right, guys, welcome back, and thanks once again for joining us on this 150 sub special. So I'm going to get right into the questions here from the Twitter. We've got Reaper Games YouTube's asks, what was your favorite arc and Dragon Ball movie? Personally, my favorite arc is definitely the Buu saga. I thought it had a little bit of everything, had a lot of tense moments, intense training, character development for my boy Vegeta. And that being said, we also had Majin Vegeta. We had a new transformation with Super Saiyan 3 and Ultimate Gohan. We had an enemy that just kept getting stronger and stronger in Buu. We learned about the Supreme Kai, which further opened up the world building that led us to the Gods of Destruction and the Angels in Dragon Ball Super. We had the first fusion character in Vegito, and even though some people think he was annoying, if you really look at it, he was written that way for a reason, and that was to bait Buhan and piss him off so that he would absorb Vegito, and in that way, Vegito could save all the people that had been absorbed by Buhan. So to be honest, it was some pretty brilliant storytelling. But there's just so many great aspects to the Buu arc, and that was just a few of the things that I loved about it. My favorite movie would have to be the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. The animation alone is hands down some of the cleanest I've ever seen in any anime production, the frames per second and everything. And I really love the art style for the character designs. Shintani style is by far my favorite rendition of the art for the Dragon Ball franchise. Shintani is a damn genius. All right, next question we've got Super Vegito 72 asks, have you ever considered doing live streams to do viewer battles? I have considered doing live streams, and I might at one point, but it's just something I would need to plan out quite a bit because I would want a face cam and all that, and I don't have a good camera, and I actually need a new mic. So there's a bunch of stuff I would have to set up in order to begin doing something like that, and I do want to do it right, so I wouldn't just half-ass it. Ripjaw623 asks, how did you first get into Dragon Ball, and who is your favorite character and why? So when I was maybe around 5 or 6 years old, the first 13 episodes of Dragon Ball were actually adapted and subbed, and they would play in the morning at like 6 a.m. Right before school. So I would watch that every day before school. And they actually just played the same episodes over. I think they probably just repeated through it twice. And that was the last I heard about Dragon Ball in the United States until I think I was like middle school, maybe like 7th grade. And I had a friend who actually had lived in Japan the year before, and he brought a bunch of Dragon Ball Z trading cards to school. This was like 92. So yeah, it was like the end of 92, I think. And I got really hyped for that world once again. So my favorite character is kind of a toss-up. First, it is Vegeta because he's got some of the best, or he's undergone some of the greatest amount of character growth, in my opinion, in the series. And he's just kind of a badass. He has the absolute best one-liners in the whole show when he's talking smack to his opponents. And then part two of my answer is Goat Jita. So that fusion is my favorite because he gets the job done. He has his own unique look, and opposed to Vegito, he doesn't seem so generic. Vegito is basically just a mishmash of Goku and Vegeta clothes, whereas Gogeta has his own look completely, And his name actually makes sense to me, whereas Vegito doesn't really, unless you take the name Vegeta and Kakaroto, which mix. But the only person who calls him that is Vegeta. So that kind of seems weird. Um, and that being the case, my theory is that that's why Vegito is primarily the personality is Vegeta, whereas Gogeta has more of Goku's personality, and the names kind of do reflect that. And as far as I'm concerned, and if my theory is correct. Um, Fabian asks, would you like to see Hero Unit Zenkai Awakening 2? If you do, which one? Absolutely not. I really think hero units at this point in the game are pretty much useless, and they're really only good for meme style of play, like, for example, Hero Hercule, or to help buff Shallot if you're running him on a team. But let's be honest, at this point, that's not really a thing anymore. It's not very viable. Maybe we'll see something later down the road where Shallot, gets Super Saiyan Blue or something like that. But at the moment, it's really kind of a moot point. Um, Super Saiyan Joku asks, as being part of the older generation, nice way to politely say that I'm old, of the Dragon Ball community, you've had the luxury of watching DBZ and the movies on release. What was your most hype moment to watch live on release? And also, I remember you saying you are well traveled. Have you picked up any foreign languages? So my most hype moment for Dragon Ball was and will likely always be Goku's first time transforming into Super Saiyan. I remember me and my best friends at the time, we were waiting for our pre-order VHSs to come in at our local Suncoast Video. And each VHS tape had like 3 or 4 episodes on them, and they would come out like maybe every month. So we waited for those a lot. But we kind of made an event out of the Super Saiyan transformation, finally getting to see him go Super Saiyan, and we were not disappointed. It was like, we bought pizza and we had, snacks and all kinds of stuff, and it was just me and my 3 of my really good friends. But Goku's speech to this day still gives me chills whenever I hear it, man. It's a huge deal for the story going forward from there as well. In terms of the Super Saiyan transformation, it really changes things in the Dragon Ball power scaling. Now, I haven't picked up any foreign languages from my travels, but my wife is Mexican and I do speak a fair amount of Spanish, although I understand it far better than I can actually speak. I am not fluent by any stretch of the imagination, but I can definitely navigate my way through a Spanish speaking country alone if I had to without much trouble. Um, my boy Roots, he says, congrats, bro, on the 150 subs. As for the questions, who is your favorite anime character in anything, and what are your aspirations for your channel? Good question. So, my favorite anime character of all time, out of any anime I've watched so far, would be Gatsu from Berserk. And anyone who has not seen the anime or read the manga, which there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of the manga, it's still going off and on. I do highly recommend both of them, but not the attempt of a reboot of the anime that was made in 2016. Do not watch that. It is an absolute dumpster fire. As far as my aspirations for the channel, as many of you know, I am a married dude with 3 kids. I've got a full-time IT job and some pretty crazy hours. So my ability to do a lot of uploads like YouTubers, where they do like multiple uploads a day or even just, every day, it's not really feasible for me. I upload pretty much as possible given my free time restraints. And honestly, I just kind of take this one goal at a time. 200 subs is obviously my next goal, and I would be stoked to hit 1K at one point in the near future. But I am a patient dude, and I enjoy the journey more so than any thought of a specific destination or goal, viewer wise, to be completely honest. I'm just having a lot of fun doing what I do, and it doesn't seem like work to me. It's just something I enjoy doing. Batzert, he asks, what got you into art? Now another great question. I've actually always been into art since I was a little kid. I would say probably around 8 or so. My favorite show at the time was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then I tried to draw them and found out I wasn't too bad at drawing freehand. So from there, art in pretty much all of its forms has always interested me. A couple of years after that, I got my grandfather to teach me how to paint. I even went to art college for 3D animation for a year and a semester before I dropped out due to burnout. I was a full-time student with a full-time job and a lot of commute time in between the two. So a year and a half of pulling 2 to 4 all-nighters every single week was killing me, and that was that. So I dropped out after that. But more recently, last year, or yeah, a little bit less than a year, I started seeing a lot of YouTubers that were making just some really fire thumbnails and banners and overlays, and I wanted to do it too. So I just started teaching myself. Digital arts, it's just like any other art medium. You just got to practice and learn the best tools. But it has been a blast, and I love every minute of it. And yeah, I just enjoy making art for all you guys. Um, Sila asks, which unit do you think should get a Zenkai next? Personally, I would love to see Super Vegito. He is my personal hope because mostly I main fusions, and I really do just love that unit. To be honest, I want him to get his Zenkai so my fusion team stops feeling like it's falling too far behind the meta. Let's see here. Uprising asks, when do I get your CC? So as soon as the devs decide where that 500cc they took out from USTR is going to go, I'll make sure to let them know to hook you up with whatever that comes in, whenever that comes in. Let's see here. Chief Legends asks, design an ideal kit for SV Zenkai. So this last one is actually a request as opposed to a question. So I did make a custom Zenkai card, and I'm going to go into that here in just a second. Let me pull that up. Cool. So we'll start with the main ability. So initially, um, his main ability is draw the ultimate arts card, Spirit Sword next, restore zone health by 30% and ki by 50. On that one, I would keep the health restoration at 30%, but I'd bump that ki up to 70 because a lot of the more modern units are pumping out like 70 ki now on these things. The original's got 30% damage inflicted for 20 timer counts. I bumped that up to 60 to make him feel more modern for 15 timer counts as opposed to 20. Let's see here. Increase arts card draw speed by 1 level for 10 timer counts. I actually put that for 15. Give it 5 extra counts. I feel like that would be plenty. Cancels enemy attribute upgrades is the old thing. I kept that. The requirements for the original one is the 25 timer counts must elapse. I drop that down another five timer counts down to 20. Let's see here. Going on. Actually, on these ones, the original unique abilities, I'm just going to go through the 2 that they have there, and then I'm going to go through my version of those 2, as well as the 2 extra Zenkai ones. So the original one was 40% to damage inflicted for 20 timer counts when this character enters the battlefield. While this character is on the battlefield, the following effects occur when an arts card is drawn. If you draw a strike arts card, it's 20% to strike damage inflicted for 15 timer counts. A blast card, same thing for 15 counts. Special arts card, 20% to own ki recovery for 15 counts. And special move arts card is 20% to special move damage inflicted for 15 timer counts. And then this is an attack, 30% to strike damage inflicted against tag regeneration, cannot be canceled. Knocks back enemy to long range if a cover change is performed against their strike arts attack, available during assists. And that was comboable into a special move arts. And he also got 10% to damage inflicted for 15 timer counts when the enemy uses an arts card while the character is on the battlefield. So those are the originals, the original uniques. My idea for the unique for the Potara fusion would be to bump that 40% damage up to 50% damage for 20 timer counts. We'll keep that the same. I don't mind that. That's a long time to keep him in there once he enters the battlefield. Then after that, I kept all those numbers the same. Nothing really needs to change about those, except for the special move arts card. I bumped that up to 30% as opposed to 20. I just wanted to give him a little bit of extra oomph on his super. As far as this is an attack, kept that mostly the same. He still has the 30% strike to regeneration. And I did change the cover change so that it's comboable into special moves, the ultimate, or a striker blast. And I gave him 20% to damage inflicted for 15 timer counts when the enemy uses an arts card while this character is on the battlefield. I know that might seem like a lot, but my idea would be to not give him a huge stat boost on the Zenkai stats. Just a smaller, don't make him so busted on the stats upgrade, and keep these extra buffs a little bit beefier. I feel like that would keep him relevant for a little bit longer than some of these other Zenkais they have. I mean, he is an LF, so I would hope they make an LF unit at least really, really good. Maybe not, I don't want to see him like Android 18 or Gohan broken, but I'd like to see him very, very good. So my idea for his Z3 unique would be to apply the following effects to self when the character enters the battlefield. Restore his ki by 20. Give him 50% to damage inflicted, which cannot be stacked, and increase his arts card draw speed 1 level for 15 timer counts. And he could do that every time he jumped in there. So we've got card draw speed the whole time, as it always should have been, to be honest. Z6 unique applies the following effects to self per defeated battle member. I want him to be a last stand unit. 20% to damage inflicted, cannot be canceled. 30% to ki recovery, cannot be canceled. And then I also want to give him 60% to ki recovery when the opponent tag regeneration is on the battlefield. Moving on to his special attack, or special move, Big Bang Attack. Deals massive impact damage that doesn't change. Restore his ki by 40 is what I would like to give it, where it was 30 before. Inflicts all enemy with no switching for 3 timer counts upon activation. Cannot be nullified by most other special moves. I've added that to as well. Before, the only thing it gave him was the 30 ki on activation. As far as his special skill, Protective Aura. The original one was to reduce damage received by 20% for 15 counts, cannot be stacked, 30% to own ki recovery for 15 counts, and he nullified his own attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions for 25 timer counts. That activates twice. I kept that last part, but as opposed to the damage received, I bumped that up to 30 for 15 timer counts. Still cannot be stacked. 30% to own ki recovery was the original. I gave him 50 on the ki recovery. And yeah, pretty much that's all I changed on that. And then we go into the ultimate skill. The original deals massive slice damage, applies the following effects to self on activation: 40% to ultimate damage inflicted for 3 timer counts, nullifies enemies' restore health when it reaches 0, effects for 3 timer counts when this character attacks, and he had blast armor when charging forward. So I changed the massive slice to supreme slice damage. He'd be the first unit to have that, I do believe. Applies the following effects to self on activation. I gave him 40% to ultimate for 5 timer counts. Just because sometimes you draw that ult, and maybe you wanna catch them in a sidestep before you actually do the ult, just to get the full damage on them. Basically you drop your combo, wait for them to sidestep, and then hit them with it. I would want to be able to do that, and giving the 5 timer count as opposed to the 3 gives you that window where you can actually do that better. Nullifies enemies, restore health. Obviously kept that the same for 3 timer counts, and it also still has the blast armor when charging forward. So that's all I got for my idea for a Super Vegito card. I don't want to make him too busted, but I did give him some nice boosts on a lot of the buffs, and I gave him a couple of extra things that he didn't have that would really make him viable in today's meta and keep him relevant for a lot of time. But that's going to wrap up this video, guys. This is going to be all I have for today. I do want to do an art giveaway at some point here in the near future. I do plan on doing like the full package. You're going to get an overlay, a banner, and for both Twitter and for YouTube if you have a channel, and probably a profile pic. So the whole package. But I want to do a giveaway for that, and I'm just planning on how I'm going to do that and how I'm going to go about it, and when I'm going to have time for that actual giveaway to go down. But aside from that, guys, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate all the love and support I've gotten since I started doing this. I can't thank you guys enough. You guys really make me feel like I want to keep doing this. Um, but you guys have a great week. Be safe, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace.